Matt Lauer was once seen as one of the most trusted faces on American television. Every morning, millions of people woke up to his calm voice and familiar smile on NBC's Today Show. He earned a massive salary, reportedly around $25 million a year, and seemed to have everything: fame, success, and influence. But behind the polished image was a story that would later shock the world. In November 2017, a single complaint changed his life overnight. Within just 24 hours, he was fired from NBC, banned from the network, and erased from a show he had helped lead for 2 decades. Soon after, disturbing details began to surface. Reports spoke of secret behavior, hidden mechanisms in his office, and allegations from multiple women that stretched back many years. The man who had once greeted America every morning suddenly disappeared from public life. Matt Lauer was born on December 30th, 1957, in New York City. His upbringing was shaped by 2 very different influences. His father, J. Robert Lauer, worked as an executive in a bicycle company and came from a Romanian Jewish background. He represented discipline, hard work, and traditional values. His mother, Marilyn Lauer, had been a model and owned a boutique, bringing style, elegance, and an understanding of public image into the family. Growing up between these 2 worlds helped Matt develop a unique personality. He learned the importance of effort and persistence from his father, while also understanding presentation and confidence from his mother. These qualities would later help him succeed in television, where both skill and image matter. Entertainment was not entirely new to the family. Matt's grandfather, Art Gentry, had been a professional singer during the golden age of live performance. As a child, Matt sometimes watched him perform and saw firsthand how an audience could be captivated by someone on stage. Those moments left a lasting impression. He learned that connecting with people was not just about talent, but also about presence, tone, and confidence. Long before he studied communications, he was already absorbing lessons about performance and communication simply by observing his grandfather. In the late 1970s, Matt enrolled at Ohio University to study communications. He was close to completing his degree when he made a surprising decision. In 1979, at age 21, he dropped out just 4 credits before graduation. Instead of waiting for a diploma, he chose to chase real-world experience. His first job was as a producer at a television station in Huntington, West Virginia. It was a modest beginning, far from the glamour of national television, but it gave him practical skills. He worked long hours, learned quickly, and showed determination. Within a year, he was reporting on camera and even hosting a small talk segment. By the age of 22, he was already anchoring news broadcasts, a rare achievement for someone without a college degree. From 1980 to 1986, Matt co-hosted PM Magazine in several cities, including Richmond, Providence, and eventually New York. Each move required him to adapt to a different audience and style. The show combined local stories, celebrity interviews, and lifestyle features, demanding both seriousness and charm. Matt proved he could adjust to different markets and became more polished with each step. His time in New York, the nation's largest media market, gave him valuable exposure and opened doors to bigger opportunities. In 1986, he entered national television for the first time when ABC launched a program called Fame, Fortune, and Romance. The show focused on the luxurious lifestyles of wealthy celebrities and business figures. Although it lasted less than a year, it introduced Matt to viewers across the country. He was no longer just a local host. He was becoming a national personality. During the late 1980s, he worked tirelessly, juggling jobs in multiple cities while also contributing to sports and entertainment coverage for networks like ESPN and HBO. His schedule was exhausting, filled with constant travel and little rest, but it built his reputation as someone who could handle any assignment. Between 1989 and 1991, he hosted a live daily program in New York that lasted 3 hours each day. The show experimented with controversial guests and sensational topics, reflecting the rise of shock television at the time. Matt often disagreed with the direction, preferring a more professional tone. Eventually, he left the program, but the experience taught him how unpredictable live television could be. Soon after, he faced a difficult period with limited job opportunities and financial stress. In 1992, he received a lifeline when WNBC in New York hired him as a co-anchor for an early morning news show. The role required waking up before dawn, but it gave him stability again. His performance impressed executives, and within a year, he was promoted to a prime evening news slot. He worked multiple shows at the same time, sometimes appearing on 3 broadcasts in one day. His smooth delivery and approachable style made him stand out. Gradually, he became known as dependable, calm, and relatable, qualities that would soon take him to national television once again. Between 1992 and 1997, he became NBC's go-to substitute anchor. Whenever someone was unavailable, he stepped in without hesitation. He covered early morning programs, weekend broadcasts, and even major evening news segments. The demanding schedule proved his reliability and versatility. In January 1994, he was named the full-time news anchor for the Today Show, marking the turning point of his career. From that moment, his rise to fame accelerated, setting the stage for the years when he would become one of the most recognized figures in American media. By the mid-1990s, Matt Lauer had become an essential part of NBC's Today Show. When he officially stepped into the role of news anchor in 1994, the program was struggling to compete with rival morning shows. NBC needed someone who felt trustworthy and relatable, and Matt seemed to fit perfectly. He had a calm presence that made viewers feel comfortable, as if they were starting their day with a familiar friend. Over the next few years, ratings improved, and the show regained its popularity. He proved he could handle both serious news and light entertainment, smoothly shifting from interviews with world leaders to conversations with actors and musicians. In January 1997, he was promoted to co-anchor, replacing veteran broadcaster Bryant Gumbel. It was a major moment in his career, and many wondered if he could carry the responsibility. He quickly showed that he could. His chemistry with co-host Katie Couric became one of the defining features of the show. They joked with each other, shared personal stories, and created a warm atmosphere that viewers loved. Their partnership helped transform the program into a daily habit for millions of families. For many Americans, mornings felt incomplete without watching them together. Matt's reputation grew beyond morning television. He was trusted to cover major national tragedies and historic events. When serious news broke, he could shift his tone instantly, delivering information with clarity and compassion. He reported on events such as the Oklahoma City bombing and other crises that required sensitivity and professionalism. This ability to balance friendliness with seriousness made him stand out from other television personalities. NBC relied on him not only for daily broadcasts, but also for special reports and high-profile interviews. Even as his career soared, he took time to complete unfinished personal goals. He had left college decades earlier without finishing his degree, something that had always stayed in his mind. In 1997, nearly 20 years after dropping out, he finally completed his studies at Ohio University. Instead of traditional classes, he submitted work reflecting on how his career related to his field of study. That year, he walked across the stage with graduating students, a moment he later described as deeply meaningful. It was a reminder that success does not erase the importance of personal achievements. During this period, his personal life was also changing quickly. In 1997, he met Dutch model Annette Roque on a blind date. Their relationship moved fast, and they married the following year in a ceremony in New York. The marriage attracted media attention because it paired a famous television anchor with a successful international model. Over the years, they had 3 children together and often appeared in public as a happy family. To outside observers, their life seemed ideal: a powerful career, a beautiful home, and growing children. Behind the scenes, however, the pressures of fame and constant work created tension. Matt's demanding schedule kept him away from home for long hours, and the attention from the media added strain. In 2006, while pregnant with their 3rd child, Annette filed for divorce, accusing him of controlling behavior and emotional distress. The filing shocked the public, as it conflicted with the image of a stable marriage. Just weeks later, she withdrew the petition, and the couple attempted to repair their relationship through counseling. Although they stayed together publicly for many years afterward, friends later suggested that their relationship remained complicated. Professionally, Matt continued to expand his role at NBC. In addition to the Today Show, he became involved in investigative programs and primetime specials. He hosted documentaries, conducted in-depth interviews, and traveled internationally for reporting assignments. This broadened his image from morning host to serious journalist. Few television personalities managed to maintain such a wide presence across different types of programming, but he seemed to handle it effortlessly. For 2 decades, he remained one of the most powerful figures in broadcast journalism. He interviewed presidents, covered wars and disasters, and reported on cultural events that shaped the world. His name became closely associated with reliability. Many viewers trusted him to deliver news accurately and calmly, especially during uncertain times. By the early 2010s, he was earning one of the highest salaries in television and was considered almost untouchable within the industry. However, the turning point came quietly during the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. While he was covering the games for NBC, an incident allegedly occurred that would later change everything. At the time, nothing was made public, and he continued his career as usual. But behind the scenes, accusations were beginning to form. Years later, a complaint would surface that triggered a chain reaction no one had expected. In November 2017, NBC received a formal complaint from an employee accusing Matt of serious misconduct. The network acted with surprising speed. Within a single day, executives decided to terminate his contract. The announcement shocked viewers and colleagues alike. His co-hosts learned the news shortly before going on air and had to inform the audience in an emotional broadcast. After more than 20 years on the show, his career ended almost instantly. As the story spread, additional allegations emerged from other women, describing a pattern of inappropriate behavior over many years. Reports suggested that some employees had been afraid to speak out earlier because of his influence within the company. The revelations transformed public perception. The man once seen as a trusted figure was now at the center of a major scandal. NBC stated that his actions violated the network's standards and made it clear that he would not return. The sudden fall was dramatic. One day, he was greeting millions of viewers on live television, and the next he was gone from the screen entirely. His long career, built over decades of hard work and public trust, collapsed within weeks. For many people, it was difficult to reconcile the friendly personality they had watched for years with the accusations being reported in the news. After being fired from NBC in 2017, Matt Lauer's life changed in ways few people could have imagined. For more than 20 years, he had lived in front of cameras, constantly surrounded by colleagues, fans, and media attention. Suddenly, that world disappeared. He withdrew almost completely from public life, avoiding interviews and staying away from major events. Many of his professional relationships faded, and some longtime friends stopped contacting him altogether. The silence that followed was a sharp contrast to the busy, high-profile lifestyle he had once known. He retreated mainly to his properties in the Hamptons, a quiet and wealthy area far from the noise of television studios. There he focused on spending time with his children and trying to rebuild a sense of normal life. Locals occasionally saw him doing everyday activities like driving, shopping, or visiting nearby places, but he avoided attention whenever possible. The man who had once dominated morning television now preferred privacy and distance from the spotlight. His marriage to Annette Roque did not survive the scandal. Soon after the news broke, they separated, and their divorce became final in 2019 after more than 2 decades together. The settlement reportedly involved significant financial arrangements and property division, but both sides handled it quietly to protect their children. Despite the separation, they continued to cooperate as parents, focusing on stability for their family. The end of the marriage marked another major loss in a period already filled with personal and professional upheaval. Public attention returned in 2019 when journalist Ronan Farrow published a book detailing allegations against powerful figures in media, including claims involving Lauer. The book described an alleged incident during the 2014 Olympics and suggested that concerns about his behavior had existed for years. Lauer denied the accusations, stating that any relationship had been consensual and criticizing the reporting as unfair. The renewed coverage placed him back in headlines, even though he had tried to stay out of view. In 2020, after remaining silent for a long time, he released a lengthy statement defending himself. He acknowledged that he had made mistakes in his personal life, but rejected the most serious allegations. He also expressed frustration with how the media handled the situation, arguing that the public had been given only one side of the story. The statement generated mixed reactions. Some people felt it was an attempt to explain his perspective, while others believed it came too late to change opinions. Financially, he remained secure despite losing his television career. Years of high earnings had left him with substantial wealth, allowing him to live comfortably without returning to work. He sold some properties and reorganized his assets, but continued to maintain a quiet lifestyle. Without the demands of daily broadcasting, his schedule became far less structured. Instead of early morning alarms and constant travel, his days were now centered on family, personal interests, and privacy. In his personal life, he eventually began a new relationship with a longtime acquaintance. They kept their relationship largely out of the public eye, appearing together only occasionally. Friends described the partnership as supportive and calm, very different from the intense public attention that had surrounded his previous marriage. The relationship suggested that he was trying to move forward and create stability after years of turmoil. As time passed, he slowly reconnected with a small circle of trusted friends. After years of isolation, he began communicating more, attending small gatherings, and participating in family events. Those close to him said he seemed more relaxed and focused on the present rather than the past. However, there were no signs of a return to television or any major public career. It appeared that he had accepted a life away from the spotlight. By the mid-2020s, his story had become a cautionary tale about fame, power, and accountability. His rise showed how determination and talent could lead to extraordinary success, while his fall demonstrated how quickly that success could disappear. For many observers, the contrast between his public image and the allegations against him raised difficult questions about trust in media figures. It also sparked broader conversations about workplace culture and the responsibilities of powerful institutions. Today, Matt Lauer lives a much quieter existence than the one he once knew. He is no longer the voice that wakes millions of people each morning, nor the central figure in major interviews and breaking news coverage. Instead, he is a private individual navigating life after an extraordinary rise and a dramatic fall. His story remains one of the most striking examples of how public perception can change overnight and how even the most established careers can come to an abrupt end. In the end, his life reflects both the rewards and risks of fame. At his peak, he experienced influence, admiration, and financial success beyond what most people achieve. After the scandal, he faced isolation, criticism, and the loss of a career that had defined him. Whether remembered for his years of broadcasting or for the controversy that ended them, his journey continues to be discussed as a powerful reminder that public figures are not immune to consequences. The man who once seemed permanent on television became a symbol of how fragile even the strongest reputations can be.